What's up guys, Duarte here with another Marvel Strike Force video. So in this video we are going to continue our journey through Dark Dimension 4, trying to beat it as fast as possible so you can get that nice border for your profile. And we are going to talk about the targets you need to focus on in order to do this. We are going to be looking at manual gameplay, and I'm gonna use characters that I find cheap to use and that are part of the raid meta, arena meta, or high alliance wars meta. So we are doing in this video the global lane, and for this video we are using as a team Captain Sam, which is farmable. We have Mary Hill, which is also farmable. We have Lady Deathstrike and Silver Samurai, which are not farmable as this video is being uploaded. And finally we have a Wolverine, which is a very easy to obtain character with your daily missions. The more Weapon X characters you have, the more benefits you are going to get from Silver Samurai. And Mary Hill, she also has a nice synergy with Silver Samurai, because her minions will trigger the passive from Silver Samurai to assist and apply vulnerabilities and bleeds and ability and heal block to the enemies. Okay, so with our team explained, let's get started and let's go through the order of the enemies you have to get rid of. This first node is a little bit problematic at the beginning. We have Magneto, we have Scientist Supreme, and we also have a Psylocke. And you want to get rid of those characters, of course, because they are going to apply negative effects to you and you don't want any of that. Okay, so we have the blind as expected. We have that taunt from Silver Samurai, which is fine. Now we're going to get a turn meter, and since Magneto already did his ultimate, you want to focus on Pyro. You want to make sure that he doesn't remove your positive effects, and for that you can stun him or ability block him if you have a character that does that. Okay, so now we have all these minions, and you'll see that whenever they attack, that many times Silver Samurai goes for the assist, giving extra vulnerabilities, buff removal, and also bleeds. Okay, so after Pyro is gone, you can focus on Magneto just to make sure that he's not giving speed up to anyone. And then you want to focus on Ronan, because you don't want him to give ability block to you. It's pretty nasty, his ability block, and you want to avoid that. So after that you want to focus on Captain Marvel, and you are done for the first wave. So for the second wave you want to stun or ability block as fast as possible Psylocke, and after that you want to deal with the Scientist Supreme and with the Merc LT. Maybe it's going to be better to attack Merc LT first, because Scientist Supreme, she only becomes seriously problematic on her second turn, when she flips all the negative effects into positive effects. Okay, so she was able to revive Pyro, that's fine, don't worry about that. We removed Psylocke. Now we have X-23, she's also quite annoying, so you want to turn rewind her, apply slow to her if you can, and stun her if you can. And be careful with her second turn, and even with the first turn, because she ability blocks you and you don't want that. So after Merc LT is gone and Scientist Supreme is gone as well, you want to focus on X-23 and use as much turn rewind as possible with the Lady Deathstrike or with the minions from Mary Hill to turn rewind her. Okay, so now we just have the minions to finish off. Just do the basics so you can replenish your cooldowns. And let's take a look at the second node. This node is very easy as well with this team. I think this team is overall extremely strong, and this is why I like to use it. So turn rewind on Squirrel Girl. You want to make sure that she's stunned, and you also want to make sure that Black Panther doesn't have offense sub. So your priority target is going to be Squirrel Girl, then Black Panther, and then Okoye. You don't want Okoye to remove any positive effects from you, and you also don't want her to remove positive effects, to apply defense down. Sorry for repeating myself. What I meant is removing positive effects and applying defense down to your team. If you have the chance, you can also apply stun to M'Baku. His first turn is not super problematic, but his second turn, when he taunts, he becomes quite a problem because he's a big wall, and we don't like to be stuck behind any wall. So here I do the auto just to get some additional speed for us. And now we have the second wave. So my auto went a little bit too far. You want to focus on Loki, make sure that he is stunned so he doesn't have his first turn. If he does have his first turn with this team, is fine because you have two tanks. So right now Silver Samurai is getting destroyed, but we are going to taunt with Captain Sam, and that will split the damage a little bit. If you feel like it's necessary, then you can use the healing abilities from Mary Heal, but as you guys saw, it's not something that I have been doing a lot. So Loki's first turn is a problem, but the second turn is also a problem. We don't want any of those characters on stealth. So make sure that you stop Loki from having his second turn, and after you want to go and defeat Proxima Midnight. She applies offense down to you, she stuns and does turn rewind. This is something that we don't want at all. You want to apply offense down to the Asgardians, to the Thors and to the Heimdalls. They apply heal block to you, and they have also the ultimate that does the stun. Those are things that you want to avoid. As soon as you can, apply stun to Groot, so he doesn't apply death proof to the enemies, and he also doesn't remove the negative effects that we apply to them. So here I'm just attacking Colobsidian to make sure that he dies, just to make sure that he is low enough, but you should focus on the Taurus and on the Heimdalls first. Leave Groot for last, he's very slow, so you'll have time with that. So on this third wave, you want to focus on Black Widow as fast as possible. If you are not able to kill her before she does the speed up to everyone, just focus on the Black Panthers and on Heimdall. You want to apply some vulnerabilities to M'Baku just to make sure that in case he taunts, you can easily remove the taunt. Okay, so both Black Panthers are very low. Now we apply the vulnerabilities to M'Baku. He does his ultimate, that's fine. The problem is the taunt. Thor has his first turn. Thor is usually quite slow, but this speed up makes him a little bit stronger. So if you can, you want to focus on him after when he has his second turn. We are still not able to get rid of Black Widow. Soon as she will die, she will do the stun, and you want to avoid as much as possible that situation. So we have a new Proxima Midnight, we want to defeat her. We also have double Okoye, so that means double buff removal, and also defense down to our team. This is why we got rid of the other Wakandas, so they don't assist with this Okoye. So we finish off Thor to make sure that he doesn't do the stun to us. We finish off Proxima Midnight and one of the Okoyes. The Heimdall is still there. Heimdall is more problematic after with his ultimate, so the first turn problematic, but then the second turn not so much. Okay, now we have the last wave, and once again you want to focus on Black Widow. Make sure that she doesn't have the first turn and give speed up to everyone. Then apply offense down to as many characters as possible. Here I decide to go after Okoye and Black Panther because I don't want Okoye to remove any positive effects from us. Then I focused on Gamora, but your priority targets are going to be Okoye. And once again, make sure you stun Groot, or that you kill everyone else fast enough so Groot doesn't have a chance of doing anything. American Chavez, you can ignore her for the most part, she does only single target damage. Here you have to pay attention to Black Panther. He has the charges, he has offense up, so if he attacks your minions, there's a high chance that you will get multiple attacks. That's something you want to avoid. Like always, Thor, if you can defeat him before his second turn, that's fine, but with so little enemies it becomes not so relevant. And yeah, so we have just finished off this node. Make sure you use your basic as often as possible so you can replenish your cooldowns for the next node. Okay, now we have the last node for the global lane. We are going to use the same team. We are always going to use the same team. And this node is long, it takes a long time to beat, and there are quite a lot of problematic characters. So we have Black Bolt, we have Quake, Black Widow, and those should be your priority targets. Black Bolt, it's because he pings your minions, you don't want him to do that. He also does big damage with all of his abilities, so you want to make sure that he has offense down, and you turn rewind him so he doesn't have any of his turns. Black Widow, as long as she's on stealth, you cannot remove her, but make sure that you apply a vulnerability on Captain America so you can easily remove the taunt. So after you are done dealing with Black Bolt, you want to focus on Quake. Quake, she applies offense down to you, she removes positive effects from you, and she also applies slow to you, and the slow is the worst part. You really don't want your characters to be slowed ever, unless it's like Captain Sam or Silver Samurai, but even so, you want to avoid that as much as possible. Okay, so now we defeated Crystal. We still want to go after Black Widow, but because she's on the stealth and we have no way of reaching her, we just ignore that for now. Okay, so she's finally exposed. Now we are going after her. Remove all the positive effects that she has. She does the stun to us, but Silver Samurai blocks and resists, so we are good to go. We summon more minions. We remove the taunt from Captain America once again. We go back to Black Widow, no more speed ups for anyone, and we finish this first wave and start saving the cooldowns for the next one. Okay, so now Deadpool and Cable. Okay, there you go, and we finish off with Captain America. Okay, so on the second wave we have a few problematic characters. We have OG Spider-Man, Symbiote Spider-Man, we have Agent Coulson, and we have Nick Fury. Miles is also another very problematic character. You want to remove him as fast as possible, but like Black Widow, is always on stealth. Okay, so I like to focus first on Symbiote Spider-Man. I'm waiting Nick Fury to summon his minions so I can do the double swipe with Lady Deathstrike to apply more bleeds to everyone else, and also to apply turn rewind. And Agent Coulson is a problematic character, but only on his third turn, so make sure that before his third turn that he has offense down, and until then you can ignore him, but after you have to focus on him. So we keep our focus on whoever is around the Symbiote Spider-Man. We want to get rid of him. We got the stun from OG Spider-Man. That's always a problem. You want to avoid that as much as possible. If you can apply blind to him or offense down to make sure that he fails that stun. We have Disrupt on Mary Hill. This is a problem. Disrupt is something that you never want on your team, especially on this one, which doesn't have a lot of debuff removal. Okay, so we are finishing off this second wave. We still have the OG Spider-Man. If you don't have like a stun that is unavoidable, avoid attacking OG Spider-Man so he doesn't get additional turn meter. Okay, so we have the third wave. Here we have Quake, Miles, and Nick Fury as the most problematic characters. Quake is going to be the one that you want to attack first. Once again, I'm trying to get the minions of Nick Fury out, so after I can do the double swipe. Maybe it's not necessary, just go for the damage and the minions will show up eventually. Double swiping is nice, but it's not mandatory. Okay, so Quake did their ultimate, applying offense down to our characters. That's a huge problem. I'm trying to turn rewind as much as possible Nick Fury so he doesn't give buffs to anyone. And after Miles goes out of the stealth, I make sure that I stun him so he doesn't go back to the stealth again. So we do the double swipe. I finish off Nick Fury, and then you want to go after Miles and Quake. Like I said before, we don't want any of the slows and we don't want any disrupts. Okay, offense down on everyone over there. Quake is on her knees, she falls off with the bleeds. Miles should also fall off with her bleeds as well. Now we have the double taunt from Rhino. We have the partial wave with Agent Coulson with another Deadpool and Cable. So once again we have to focus on Agent Coulson. His ultimate is nasty, the special is also nasty, and the basic is extremely nasty. So yeah, we get rid of him, and now you just have to slowly tap these guys out, apply as many bleeds as you can, and you can focus first on Cable because he turn rewinds with his special, but it's not like these characters are overall problematic. Apply offense down to them if you're using Silver Samurai with the special, and you'll be just fine. Okay, so we are finishing off this wave. We have 2 more to go, and after we'll be done with the global lanes on Dark Dimension 4. And as you can see, this team performs very well because all of these characters have a lot of survivability, and we also have a lot of mitigation, defense ups and offense downs. The team works fine, plus we have a lot of health on turn, and this allows us to don't use the ultimate from Mary Hill often. Okay, so we have another wave. Once again we have Agent Coulson, we have OG Spider-Man, so if you can stun OG Spider-Man and get rid of him, otherwise focus on Coulson and on Quake. So make sure that Shield Security always has vulnerabilities, so you can remove the taunts from him. If Miles is available, go for the stun and finish him off after you are done with the other characters. If he's stunned, it's fine. So finish off the other characters, Quake, OG Spider-Man. So that's going to be it. So we are going to turn rewind Miles to make sure that he stays in the stun. The turn rewind happens whenever one of your minions crits, and it can be done whenever the minion has their own turn or whenever they are called for assist by Mary Hill's special. Okay, so we have the half wave with Nick Fury and with Symbiote Spider-Man. You want to get rid of Symbiote Spider-Man as fast as possible. We don't want any of those defense downs on our team. We still have to deal with Quake. This is something that I left behind, but you really want to focus on her because those slows are very problematic. So as you can see, we have slow on Wolverine, and this is something that you really want to avoid as much as possible. Lady Deathstrike can remove those negative effects, but if you can prevent them, that will be the best way. Okay, so we are going to get rid of Quake, we are going to get rid of Nick Fury, and after you just have to finish off Symbiote Spider-Man, and we will be on the last wave of the global lane on Dark Dimension 4. So some big damage to him, apply vulnerabilities around, so you'll always be doing 10% more damage. Now we have Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, we finish her off, and then we have Cable as a priority, and finally we have Deadpool. So basic your way through Deadpool, making sure that you have as many cooldowns as possible, and this wave, the last wave, is very annoying. We have another Symbiote Spider-Man, we have another Black Bolt, and in terms of the other characters we have double Miles, so these 2 Miles are quite a problem. You want to offense down and turn rewind one of them and try to stun the other if you can. Okay, so as you can see, Black Bolt is completely destroying our minions, and that's why we want to apply offense down to him and then get rid of him as fast as possible, because that ability happens outside of his turn. So I stun one of the Miles, the one that didn't have been turn rewinded, and then we are going to focus on Symbiote Spider-Man. We don't want him to have his ultimate, which applies stun to us plus 2 turns of slow. Slow is very important to avoid in a Dark Dimension on in raid, so that's why we have this priority. So we go after Black Bolt, he's almost gone, and then our minions will be saved and we'll be able to do some easy focus on the other characters. Okay, so we are finishing off the first Miles, the second one is halfway through, and we are finishing off as well. and now we have Negasonic, cable once again, and the shield security. So focus on the cable, then you can focus on Negasonic, or you can leave it for last. She's quite slow, it's not a huge priority, and at this point you can put on auto because this is the last time you are going to use this team. And yeah, that's gonna be it for the global line of Dark Dimension 4.